When you say AI ready finance team, what does that actually look like in reality day to day?
So a great question, Wassia. And well, theoretically, we can do a whole lot of readiness assessments. We can do all those pre-assignment or pre-fill out checklists, do all those sort of questionnaires.
Mm-hmm.
However, I always say that look at just one day in practice that which can actually give you a good litmus test if you are ready for AI, ready to have AI in your business or not.
Okay.
And that one litmus test is understanding or evaluating how are you making your decisions today.
Okay.
If data is just another chart on a PowerPoint deck and that is it, and does not fundamentally drive how you are making decisions, I'm sorry, you are not ready. Now, most of us think that once we get AI, we will become data driven because then we'll have more insights, faster insights, and so on and so forth. It is in fact the other way around. To really leverage AI, we need to have a data-driven mindset, because at the end of the day, data-driven is not a technology issue, right? It's a mindset thing, right? We need to be able to use the output of machine, rely on the output of the machine, and to do that, we need to be able to have that courage to take a decision based on data.
Okay.
While our gut or instinct tells us otherwise, because a lot of times we go with our gut, we go with our instinct. And I don't say that, don't go with your gut or instinct. That's what makes us uniquely human though. But relying on data when data is telling us an entirely different story is what makes us ready to go for any technology for that matter.
Oh, I would like to see how it works in real life, right? So let's say you walk into a finance department today. What are the signals that will tell you they're not ready for AI, right? And that's even if, like you said, the technology are there. So I walk into a finance team, and what tells you that they're not data driven enough already to be ready for AI?
So as I mentioned, Wassia, if most of the decisions are still based on gut feel or the person, instead of the merit or what the data is telling us, they are based on the hierarchy of decision making or hierarchy of people in the organization, we're not data driven then. Right.
Okay.
We are more people driven. People driven. I would say we are more guided by the instinct and gut and our experience as opposed to what data is telling us. Apart from that, I would like to point out two more things. Right. One is, of course, being data driven. Secondly, it's about workflows being too complex. So if I walk into a finance function and their processes are broken, their processes are not supporting automation, there are too many manual workarounds, and manual workarounds is not a bad thing per se, but doing it in the form of something like, creating a manual workaround to overcome some system issue is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So if those workflows are too complex, all we are going to do using AI is amplify that complexity. So I always start off with streamlining those workflows.
Okay.
And lastly, a very important element I always recommend and advise my clients around is that if people are hesitant to experiment, everything needs to be safe, everything needs to be risk averse. Being finance, we are risk averse. That's how we are trained, right? So, but AI, on the other hand, requires some experimentation. It's not a kind of an implementation which will happen like an ERP or any other cloud or SaaS solution where there'll be clear go, no go decisions. And you will always have an output which is not very accurate. Then you will retrain your models to get more accurate output and so on and so forth. So you need to have that experimentation mindset. Now, these are the things which I'm talking about right now does not really need technology at all, as you would have noticed, right? These are mostly mindset driven. These are mostly behavior driven things, which would actually drive and get you ready to leverage AI. And I also don't say that you do all of these things and then go for AI. Of course, that's also not practically possible. But starting to realize and starting to acknowledge that we need to change is the first step. And then working on this while you are, of course, working on your AI and digital roadmaps as well is what sets us up for success.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, we start with the idea of we need to be more data driven. So let's say I'm running a forecast and for the past 3 years, I see that sales have been increasing at 5%. If it's data driven, when I'm looking at my next year, I should, also feel like it's going up, for example. But let's say the marketing director comes in and say, oh no, let's lower it, right? So now I'm almost not as data driven, but now it gets into the politics. Is that correct?
Yeah. You have absolutely, you are
Okay.
absolutely nailing it. And that's where the biggest issue comes in as well, right? I mean, if market is sending us different signals,
Mm-hmm.
but because of her sales or marketing directors, based on their, or even CFOs for that matter, based on their experience, they believe that this is something which is temporary, or, it's fine, we'll be able to get over with that, or we have done that in the past and we know how it's going to work. So if we ignore what data is telling us,
Mm-hmm.
then of course we are not data driven. Having said that, there is always that balance between the two. Yes, as a human, we must use our experience. This is what makes us
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day uniquely human. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is that if data is telling us an entirely different story and our gut and instinct is telling us an entirely different story, we need to really critically evaluate that situation, as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
just, saying, oh, no, data is fine, data is not right. Or, most of the time you might have heard in a boardroom or in those planning meetings, oh, I don't trust the number, I don't know if this number
Yes.
is correct or not, and so on and so forth. So again, there are a lot of different elements associated with building that trust as well. But
Mm-hmm.
inherently not trusting data, or inherently having that outset attitude towards not relying on data for
Mm-hmm.
decision making is how we drop the ball on being data driven.